Hello, welcome to Load Bearing Beams. This is a podcast where I try to convince my wife, Laci, to like Star Wars.
And he fails. He fails a lot.
Normally, we each pick a movie that the other person hasn't seen or doesn't like, and we watch it, and we try to convince them to like it.
Fail.
But we're doing a little bonus pod today because we just saw the new Star Wars movie, The Last Jedi, and we have some thoughts and we wanted to share. We saw this movie together this morning. We've still not discussed it, so I'm interested to see what you thought of The Last Jedi. Laci, go ahead.
Should we announce that this is a spoiling situation?
That's a good point. Please, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters.
Spoiling does occur here. Big spoils.
If you've not seen this movie yet,
the riches of which you've never seen.
If you've not seen this movie yet, turn off the podcast and
then turn it on again after.
Do it now. All right, go ahead. What did you think?
It was delightful.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. I don't know if I liked it more than The Force Awakens. Yes, I did. I think I did like it more. I mean, what do you want? I mean, okay. If Carrie Fisher had not died in real life, I think this movie would be free of all sentimental cheesiness that it was just so delicate. I don't know how to... It was perfectly balanced. It was The Force.
Mm-hmm.
But where it tipped its hand a bit for nodding to Leia's existence, that's the only time it got a little squinch.
Too sentimental for what you wanted.
Because it was just so... You didn't want it to be sentimental. No, not that. I love cinema. It just was so even-handed with how it approached nearly every single topic it does. That is the only time where I could see it revealed itself as being something that occurred due to the circumstances that happened during the filming. That's all.
Okay.
Like, bar that not happening, I think I wouldn't have had even one moment of,
Okay.
That's all. That's the compliment.
The impression is like it was delightful. You know what though? If this hadn't happened, maybe.
Okay, but that's okay. So the Force Awakens, it was so bad that it not once, and even though you're supposed to be like rediscovering this magical world that you knew as a child, so there's supposed to be these fun little nods and winks, and
fan service.
Yes, and they served it perfectly. This one, that's the only thing it didn't do as well as the first, and I'm saying that it is because of the circumstances. Carrie Fisher not dying means they wouldn't have had these moments.
What moment are you talking about?
They're kind of hard to explain. I just feel like they kind of longingly stared at Leia a couple times, or the hand squeeze that happens between Leia and the Admiral, the woman that becomes
Laura Dern.
There you go. Yeah.
The woman with purple hair.
Yes,
from Jurassic Park.
Her.
Okay.
There's some moments between them. There's just some longing looks. Even her resurrection that happens in the movie. She's thrown into space and forces herself back through. I mean, I think it was because that she'd actually died that they bothered even putting that storyline in there. I mean, obviously it served a whole other lot of purposes, but it became a little bit more of a tribute in those parts than I think they would have done had she not died.
I have no idea if that's right or not.
How can anyone know?
Well, the people who made the movie know, but
no, they don't.
What?
No.
Ever. It doesn't matter. Like, a movie needs to stand on its own as a movie, regardless of what you know about the movie. Okay.
So I could be biased just because I knew that, maybe I was looking for that. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I thought that the reason it's so much better than The Force Awakens is because it has very, very little fan service. This movie is just like, it's like, so when people say solid, that kind of sounds like it's underhanded, like, because it's like, oh yeah, that's solid. But I mean, this is solid, like, you kick it and you're just like, oh,
yes.
It's confident. This movie knows what it's doing, and it does it so well.
That's the kind of asshole that I am. I meant to pay it a huge compliment with that long negative thing I just said.
Oh, okay.
No, I meant it was such a perfect... I don't know what other word to say it. It just when you thought it was going to go somewhere you thought...
Yeah.
It checks you at every... It's not twist just for the sake of twist. It's it's just so
it
easy
moves
to
forward.
yes.
It moves the story forward. It's rather than twist like, oh, you think this is going to happen? No, this is going to happen. No,
it opened up
it's
a
an
whole
evolution of the story.
It opened up a whole world of you think sometimes when a movie ends, like, what the hell are they going to do in the second one? Like, what could possibly be happening from here? Where I feel like that for this one, but in a whole other more positive way. Like, oh, there's so many possibilities. That's how I feel.
And it goes so many different directions with themes that Star Wars plays with, like heroism, destiny,
conflict, inner turmoil.
Inner turmoil, and then the conflict between, a rebellion and an empire, or in this case, the resistance and the First Order.
Yes, and the whole idea that it's just, right, how do you truly know you're on the right side of things?
So okay. We wanted to just kind of hit a few things because we don't have a million hours to spend.
Sure. Wait, but I just wanted to give one example of the brilliant balance. And it goes against even what I really want until I think about it and go, nope, that's exactly what I needed to happen. And this is something that they fall into so fast with the first two original Star Wars movies, is they dive right into there needs to be a romance. And they don't do that here. They just make you feel this immense love between these characters, and they don't make it romantic. Mm-hmm. And the whole time you spend a lot of time thinking the relationship with the most tension, that could be the most passionate, they're probably brother and sister. So you never even go there with your mind. Not until the very end when they both reveal that, oh, okay, Rey is not from anything. Adam Driver's not her brother. Like that could have happened. There's this because they have this intense connection, you want to think of it as one that would happen with their vaginas and penises. I want to see them make out so bad, but I'm worried they're brother and sister. And then it's revealed they're not, and then I'm like, make out, no! And then get Finn in there, and then let's all just touch butts.
We watch movies very different.
All do that. Okay,
Tina Belcher.
Yes,
we watch movies very, very differently.
But then I find myself starting to really pull for Rose and Finn. These connections, but then the movie has such a great way of reminding you these are just people who have a lot to think about, and they do very much care about each other. So let's care about what happens to them. It doesn't have to be that they fuck.
Right.
Or that like a girl is swooning and just wants to be wanted, and a guy just wants to get it in. It has that tension without playing to it in a way that so many movies rely on that to drive the story.
Yeah, credit to this movie that it doesn't do that, and that it doesn't. There's a thought, a little bit of a hint at the end when Rey looks off at Finn, who's now has another lady in his life. I hope that's not
too.
Yeah, but man, I'm so happy that Rey's parentage is revealed and it's nothing.
Yes,
because these movies have a problem, or the
Yay,
old
Hermione!
movies have a problem. It's what?
I love it.
What are you saying?
I said, yay, Hermione.
But what does that mean?
I like it when there's not a chosen one. Or that it's not because of lineage.
So explain what you mean. So Hermione...
I just like it when someone's just special and they're the first of their name. Or, it doesn't come from blood. You can just be the chosen one without being chosen by genetics.
Yes. And these movies are so obsessed with, no, you're great, and you're great because your parents were actually secretly these amazing wizards. Rey is just, her parents sucked, and they abandoned her because they were drunks. But still, she's awesome. And I was worried that they weren't, all the fan conversation has been around whose parents are Rey, who are Rey's parents. Is she Luke's daughter? Is she Luke's niece? Is she Luke's cousin? Basically all iterations of how she related to Luke.
Of course.
And, even conversations with people that I had about this movie, theories they had, they're like, ooh, you know what? Maybe what if this character's actually that character from this movie, and like...
Right. Like, if it's somehow that makes it...
This movie's beyond that. It's interested in bigger things than that. Like, you don't want just the, aha, I knew it, this character I remember is...
Well, even down to the right. It validates all the chess playing you've been doing in your mind, trying to connect all the dots, all the pattern seeking, when it reminds you the universe is bigger than that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about these movies compared to the other. The others dabbled in showing us these other systems, these other planets and these other worlds and stuff, but they didn't feel big, and they felt like one-off.
Yeah, this feels big.
This feels big. They keep landing in big places, going to new places.
It's dense. The movie's dense, and dense is the word you say when something's good because it has a lot of detail. Whereas like stuffed or packed is when it's the same thing, but it's not in a good way. Like George Lucas, the big problem he had was packing shit in.
Right.
Like every frame has to have shit going on in the corners.
Right.
These movies are fine with silence, empty screens, wide open spaces. But the moment when the Star Destroyer or whatever gets sliced in half, and there's just this sound.
My God.
I've never heard a sound like that before.
I know, and and in that moment, I'm like, of course, you punch it to punch it.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God,
never occurred to me
it's
that you
never
could do that.
happened. I was like, that was so fucking amazing. It was like a giant. It was such a powerful impact that it was like a lightsaber on an arm. It cauterized that shit. That thing was still flying for a while because it was such a clean cut.
Yeah.
It only damaged it enough for it to slowly fall apart after that.
So good. Mark Hamill, when he got the script for Force Awakens, he said that he was upset that he only appears in the last scene. He's like, I had this idea that Luke would come in and save Han at the last moment or something. He talked about his idea for where Luke was going, and he said when he got the script for Last Jedi, he and the director and writer of the movie, Rian Johnson, fought over it. He's like, this isn't the right place to take Luke, and he had to be won over to the direction they ended up taking it. And it's like a testament to you kind of need to step back outside of this world to see where to take these characters as real characters, because Luke has never been a real character like he is in this movie. We've never gotten an acting performance out of Mark Hamill.
They
like
must
we got
have had
in this
him
one.
upside down so much.
So what did you think? What did you think of Luke in this
Okay,
movie?
well, I think I would have thought even higher of it if you hadn't said before we went in that there was Oscar buzz around it, because that now you've really set.
I think that was super. There was like overexcited fans saying stuff like that, but
They should be tamed, right?
well, Sylvester Stallone nearly won an Oscar a few years ago for playing Rocky in a performance that wasn't as good as this.
Right,
so I don't think it's far fetched.
That's not my point either. I just feel like if you were a new actor giving this performance, there's no fucking way.
But that's part of it. That's part of it is being an actor, is inhabiting a role that you've lived your whole life with, that has defined you, and finding new places to go with it.
But he didn't. He fought for the old places.
No, he did.
You just said that. You
What?
said he fought the director for old places.
Oh, but his initial instinct was we should do this, but then he
Yes, he did
gave a different kind of
he did a
performance.
great job with this movie. I'm so glad he became an actor eventually.
Mm-hmm.
This performance was awesome, especially at the end, where he's in the black outfit, and he has short hair.
And he
I was
looks,
like, why do I like him so much? Oh, short
he
hair.
just looks better now. I kept thinking, he looks good.
Right? Why does he look so good?
Why
Oh,
am
he's
I
a
attracted to
fucking
him?
hologram.
Yeah, because he's projecting his forced essence or whatever.
right. His pheasants.
Okay, good. I was pretty annoyed with you for not liking him.
And Leia showed up for me too. I mean, she still was clearly between naps, but not between Quaaludes, and there's a difference. I mean, she's got soul in this performance,
And she's a soldier.
and she dances with it. It doesn't matter. I love Poe.
Who was absolutely not a character in the first movie. And you get an actor like that, a big name actor who's amazing, and you don't do anything with him, and he looks like he dies at the beginning of The Force Awakens, and then just shows up at the end. He's like, oh, I was over there.
He's Jeff Goldblum in it, and I'm back. No.
But this one, he actually has an arc. He has lots of screen time.
A true arc. I mean, he's truly a lead. Oh, it sounds so cheesy. He's truly a leader at the end, you guys. But the moment. Okay, I have two very, very, very favorite moments.
Okay.
What are yours?
My two favorite moments?
You can just tell me 1 or 5.
I don't... Oh, God. Okay, my favorite... Well, fucking... I don't know. I can't decide on what my favorite is.
Then I don't think you truly have any, because I have them.
Okay.
And you know that I don't really list things.
Yeah.
Okay, so my two faves are... before I said the word fave. So it's my favorite when I don't say fave. Okay. Or the moment when Rey and
Kylo Ren?
touch hands in the hut.
That was good.
Love that. And then my second is when Rey and Finn hug at the end. It's just such a good, love hug. It's not I'm gonna get in the bed with you now.
Yeah.
They're just so, they don't have anyone in the world. One grew up as a janitor with no love and who was sold to the White Walkers, whatever they are. And then this other one, Queen of the Drunky Junkies.
She's a scrapper.
Queen of the Junkie
Yeah,
Junkies.
just wandered the desert world alone.
And these are the two people they've connected with truly and spent time with. The first way they ever found love, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It's just belonging, and they just belong in each other's arms. They hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me to think of what my favorite moment
Little
was.
moments.
There's just so many. I think Luke and Kylo, their confrontation is gonna stick with me.
It was great. Adam Driver is just... Can anyone look more like veiny bulging out of his eye shaky than he can?
It so plays with your expectations because when Supreme Leader Snoke brings in Kylo Ren and Rey, it's very much like Return of the Jedi, and it seems like Kylo Ren's gonna betray his master and save the hero, and he does, but it's not what you think it is, because it's not like he's suddenly good, although
Nope.
he might not totally be evil, he might just be power hungry.
Right.
It's like you don't actually know,
I
and
love
you don't need to know. We don't need to have such
He's conflicted, truly.
easy categories for what these things mean. I love the interplay between him and Domhnall Gleeson, General Hux.
Yes.
Love the little look Hux gives him at the end of the movie, which
Right.
I'm like, okay, that's coming back in the next movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. You're on a flow.
So what didn't you like, if you didn't like anything about this?
This is the sound of me thinking.
Oh, you know what? When Luke and Leia's meeting, their one scene together, I thought was really touching.
Touching, yeah,
I
with the dice.
I wasn't expecting it to be, because I thought Leia in the first movie was a little underwhelming.
Yes. God, story of her fucking life. She had to die to become interesting.
Well, when she and Han get reunited in The Force Awakens, I don't know. When she and Han Solo get reunited in The Force Awakens, everyone was praising it and praising the chemistry they had, and I just didn't feel it. But
No.
I felt like this was like very true to who the characters were, and now that I think about it, I think she knew he was not really physically present there. But he gives her the dice. He gives her the dice from the Millennium Falcon,
totem.
which was there's such a nice little touch that didn't call attention to itself really. So have you thought of something?
Okay. And it gave gravity to some gravity.
Gravitas?
Gravitas. It gave importance to something that was always kind of made. I wish I could talk. What's the one we just watched?
The Last Jedi?
No, the second Star Wars.
The Empire Strikes Back?
These movies are named like Catholic churches. Mother of the Sacred Holy.
Yeah, it's true.
Doubtful. That one. He's in a one-handed handstand lifting stones. It's just like, why? You lift the stone, cool. You've proved yourself you can do that. If you lift a stone, you could lift your fucking ship. They're the same amount of impossibility that you just metaphysically did that, you stupid asshole.
That's Yoda's message.
I know.
Okay.
It's annoying because he never. Anyway, he doesn't use the Force right. Bums me out. Man, what a way to vindicate yourself, though. He used the Force like a motherfucker in this one. But anyway, not my point. So stones are a whole thing. And then they say that during her training that's happening on that island, but then at the very end it saves everyone. The whole
it does.
The idea that it's trivial to lift stones, but she made it work for the entire franchise, that it's not trivial. Okay, I just saved the resistance.
You're right.
By not resisting.
And if the movie has a message, is that these little small acts, seem small to us, can reverberate in ways that we have no idea, even all the way across the galaxy, in ways we'll never even learn about, like Finn and Rose liberating the little slave kids, or at least inspiring them and giving them the
They were not
rebellion
liberated,
ring.
right?
But they were emotionally and spiritually liberated,
and they did not give that little kid a ring. He had it.
Whatever.
He had the Force.
No, I know he had the Force, but he also had the insignia of the Resistance. But they inspired something in him.
Oh, right. They reminded him that people are out there like that but he's heard of good things.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I haven't given this much thought until just now, and I still haven't, that the signal went out and no one came. What do you think that means? That they tried to call for help and no... I mean, is that just a red herring? Like, there's still people out there? Was that supposed to be really significant? Except, it's just not going to be a big blast out of this planet, but maybe that's all it meant.
So they don't come, but they're still out there willing to be rallied. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they even determined that there's anyone. He said they're receiving. Well, yeah,
but they're not coming. It doesn't totally track how you had in the Force Awakens. You had a galactic Senate, and then you had separate from that you have a Resistance, and then a First Order. But now everything's destroyed, and they're just one small ragtag fleet. This was so much like though in tone and even in the storyline, Battlestar Galactica, the TV show from the 2000s, which I love. That show literally had a storyline where this crew of ships has to keep jumping into hyperspace to keep away from their enemies who are constantly able to track them through light speed.
Oh, what was the track? I thought they were setting it up the whole time for how the evil redhead had them on a string. I thought it was Finn, because when he said I have him on a string, Finn wakes up in his suit and he's spraying water everywhere. What did he mean?
No, I don't think it was. It wasn't. I think they just had some sort of technology that could track them through light speed.
Oh,
it's just
they were just
now
trying...
we know how to do it. You see?
All right then.
I loved that Luke Skywalker was allowed to be funny. He's never really been funny and he's not hysterical. He just has some. He has some
some awareness. Yeah, he
funny
had
moments.
Some Ford.
I love him being crazy and
he's a good...
haggard and tired, but also like eating raw fish. I don't think he does, but he catches a fish with a little harpoon.
It's a huge harpoon.
Okay. The porgs. People were worried about the porgs. The porgs are those little bird things.
You mean the Hatchimals?
I don't know what that is.
That's like this is the second year in a row where that's like the biggest toy everybody wants.
Okay.
So these little... It's just interesting that they look like Hatchimals.
But it was clear that they'd created these for the movie so they could sell toys. Because this movie's probably less on the merchandise than The Force Awakens. I think kids aren't going to like this movie as much as they like the last one. But even the porgs have this nice little somber, kind of very like touching introduction. Like you see them in their nest with their little babies on Luke's island planet. Okay, I just like that little detail.
Yeah. Right, they don't overdo the cuteness.
What didn't you like? I disliked a few things.
Oh, you put me on the... What didn't I like?
I was worried about what Finn would do in the movie, and I think my worries were I think I was right to be worried because his storylines he's great, but his storyline's
he does need
not
a strong female leading him all the time though.
His storyline's not very important. It's a red herring.
Right. And
I think it was all just building up to his cool battle with Captain Phasma, which was cool, but getting there, the Brienne of Tarth with the silver mask.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool, but I still feel like the movies don't know what to do with him.
I think you're right. So now they've had to put him in a love triangle. And
then the thing that I don't know how I feel about it is Yoda.
Yeah, like, what was the need?
No, and it served a need because Luke needed to have his revelation and he needed to learn Yoda's final lesson or whatever. And what Yoda said was actually pretty profound. And
right.
I really like the idea of, like, the reason we're even alive is so that we can teach people how to replace us.
I love that. I love that the burden of the master is that your students have to grow beyond you. I love that. And
that's both really profound and also very keeping with the universe of Star Wars, and it's what parenting is.
Right.
You teach your kids to not need you anymore.
That's what they did for good old Ray. We're going drinking. You know where the junk pile is. Yeah! That's how I imagine it happening.
And
yeah! Junk piling for my little baby.
And
get yourself some cans, little lady. All right, go ahead. I'm definitely not.
At least they stayed together.
You think they did?
They said your parents left you. It wasn't like your dad never knew you and your mom.
Your dad waited till another Christmas and said, "Fuck this," and he left too.
Yeah. However, Yoda looked weird and smushed.
What?
And I don't know. It just kind of felt like it didn't belong. I don't know. I'm not sold on it.
Okay.
But and that felt the most fan servicey. It was the most like, we need to have a callback to.
I thought there was gonna be clapping when he showed up.
We saw it in a theater with 15 other people because we saw it in the morning. I bet people clap when he shows up. Still, I feel like in a moment that should give me chills, does not.
I just thought of something.
Okay.
It just occurred to me just now that that's how Luke got in the cave. It ended up leading them to the right spot, but I still kind of kept thinking, well, yeah, that's where Luke came in from the cave. There's obviously another entrance. Like, oh, he's a hologram. There's just a hole for crystal foxes. It still ended up working out, but I just thought of that little detail. Oh, a confusing thing that I don't know the purpose yet, and maybe it's okay. The black hole, where there's just not infinite amount of rays. And she touches the wall, and all she sees is herself.
Her parents are not. She's not from a great lineage. The only thing in her past is herself, and the only thing who's going to make her future is herself.
Okay. But the significance
I don't know
of the hole
is it's just sort of like force. It's a force hole. I don't know.
I feel. Okay.
I don't know. I like shit like that, and I don't feel like I need it to be literally explained what it is.
It just looked like a nightmare
it's just
hole.
Sort of trippy. I like nightmare holes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love the snap.
That was fucking. There's never been something like that in a Star Wars movie.
That was very cool.
This movie had a lot of things that Star Wars movies never have.
So it literally
slow
expanded.
Motion, but even things like Matrix Vision, where Luke.
I know.
But there's a reason for that because it's not physically him. He's a whatever. He's not a hologram. He's a Force essence.
A pheasants.
Mm-hmm. So. Let's see. We need to wrap up. But on the whole, where would you put this in the Star Wars pantheon as a non-Star Wars fan, but a fan of the new Star Wars movies?
Number one.
Number one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you don't put it there, you're a fucking fool.
I mean, I've only seen it once.
What?
If I said it was the best Star Wars movie, I'd feel like I was
being correct,
overreacting. But I think it might be.
Okay.
Listen, the actors Rey and Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, are great characters played by great actors, better actors than the old movies.
Judge it. That you could even say that sentence without punching yourself in the face.
This is the best directed, best looking, best sounding Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
Best performance by Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker.
Best Carrie Fisher ever.
Best Carrie Fisher. On paper, I think it is the best movie.
The director is so smart for getting rid of what would not expand the universe, and that's the one thing I would have held on to for the old movies. Harrison Ford, with him existing in this world, you don't want to go beyond it. Mm-hmm. You want him. You want a world where he can still keep up, and in this new one, he can't.
And even whenever I watch The Force Awakens now, the parts that are the best and hold up at the best are the ones of the young character parts. Everything with him, he's delightful to watch, but it does feel like.
But they need you to let him go, and they do, it's
done.
Brilliant the way that they do it, and I think it makes total sense that him and Mark Hamilton did not need to have. Fucking damn his name, Mark Hamill did not need to have their those Titans clash in the same movie. There's such a having all of them having screen time in one movie would have just felt like the old shit. Yeah, so just phasing it out like that, it's just so fucking smart. And I think that's the last you'll ever see of Yoda. It's just that they didn't put him in the other one, so it's just like, hey, goodbye, say bye-bye.
And he needed to teach that lesson to Luke.
Well, and he's teaching it to us that you don't need Yoda anymore. None of us need Yoda anymore. We've now passed.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he was passing.
We don't need our old characters anymore.
Exactly. He was
Rey.
there to pass the torch off to even Poe is now going to be Carrie. Carrie Fisher won't be there anymore either. Like it's all new.
They don't have to line up with. They don't have to be avatars of the old characters either.
Because it's a whole new.
Poe seemed like he kind of would be a Han Solo figure, but he's not. I mean,
he's all about unity.
He thinks of himself as a hero. He's
Han Joiney.
A swashbuckler, but he really fucked things up, and he keeps fucking up in this movie by doing what he thinks is the heroic thing.
But then ultimately does not. No, he fucks up one time.
No, he fucks up. He fucks up at the beginning when he tries to kill the Dreadnought, and then
I know.
he fucks up when he
Awesome
Laura
opening.
Dern.
Yeah.
That was the kind of thing that happened on Battlestar Galactica a lot. Is you'd question the commander, and there'd be little mutinies. Anyway,
Little bitty mutinies.
Anyway,
Tiny little.
good movie. You should see it. I'd give it a solid A.
A++.
So thanks for indulging our mini episode about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. We hope to have one more proper episode before the year is out, hopefully with some guests.
And I hope that Rey and Kylo
Ren
have a baby, and then I hope that it looks
You're
like a Hatchimal.
Shipper.
And I hope that they don't give it to me. Like I want it, and I like that they're still dangling it out there, and I like that the third one.
You don't hope that they literally give you their baby. You hope that
I want the maybe they're gonna know. Oh, see, I love this.
I want them to get together, but I want them to be brother and sister too. I like that. Okay. What? What's the problem?
And I want Rose and Finn to also be brother and sister.
Yeah. And Luke and Leia should have made out more.
Right.
Than they do in this movie, which is already a considerable amount.
You're just a projection of yourself, man. I mean, why not deep throw your sister right now? It's not even you.
You're right. It's just because if you can go back on in time and meet yourself, you should make out with yourself, because why not?
I don't think that I would.
I wouldn't either.
Okay. All right.
Bye, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Love you. Bye.
Happy Life Day.
Happy Life Day.
3, 4. Everybody, love bearing beams, love bearing beams, love bearing beams, love bearing